Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great week and looking forward to a great weekend. Boy, it's amazing that, the holidays are creeping up on us the way they are. We have Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving, and then, of course, all the holidays over the end of the year, New Year's, Christmas, Hanukkah, everything is coming up. So look forward to a good end of the year. We're having, as you could tell from Jessica's quotes, we're having a great year this year. Allison James is doing very, very, very well. And we thank all of you for that. You guys are doing just a great job. Starting out today, I'm doing something a little bit different than we have in the past. And that is, I have Cherie Smith with me from Passports Unlimited. As those of you who saw my email this morning, we're going to be talking over the course of the next couple of months, November and December, about business planning for 2018. If you don't have a business plan, you don't know where you're going. I mean, you might have goals. I'm going to sell 24 homes in the year of 2018. But if you don't have a business plan as to how you're going to get on January 1st from ground zero to 24, you're not going to make it. You're just going to be winging it, and that's not the way to do a productive, successful business. So again, I'm going to be getting into more detail about that. But along with your business planning, you need to be thinking about your marketing. And I know social media is going to be a great way for you to get your name and your reputation out there. But there's also an equally good way, and that's with Passports Unlimited. As I mentioned in my email this morning, I do not run a lot of vendors through here trying to promote what they can do for you, primarily because I don't think a lot of them are effective. But with Passports Unlimited, Cherie, I have had with my agents very, very good success. In fact, Cherie was with us last year and did a presentation, and she had, and I had a number of the agents that were at that presentation get back to me this year and say, hey, are you going to bring her back? We want to make her a part of our program, marketing program for 2018. So I said yes. Cherie and I touched base together, and I'm happy to have her here today. So again, I want you to listen to her message. She has a good one. It's an excellent product. It's going to get your name in front of your clients who have done business with you, and keep your name and your business in front of them throughout 2018. So without doing any more of Cherie's presentation, I'm going to bring Cherie on. Cherie?
All right. All right, good morning, and thank you for having me. So I know a lot of you are already familiar with Passport. We've been in business over 30 years. There's quite a few agents with Allison James that have been using us for a while, and I'm just happy to be reaching everyone here. So for those of you unfamiliar with us, we've created, it's a business level dining membership. I'll kind of hold this up. Hopefully we can get a good shot here. And what we've done away with, like the coupon dance and the punch cards, we put together a dining membership that you would feel comfortable dining out with clients, and then even gifting to clients. The way it works is very simple. It's a 1-year membership, and it gives you and your clients unlimited free entrees at the best restaurants around town. So the way it works is Tom and I, we can head over to 333 Pacific in Oceanside. All the Cone restaurants are on the program. Tom can order, I know they've got a $41 filet entree. I'm going to order a $34 halibut entree. We put our Passport card down in the check presenter at the end of our meal, and they're going to discreetly take off the equal or lesser value entree. So in this case, we're getting a $34 entree free. Completely unlimited. That means if you want to go back lunch and dinner, you can. If you want to go back to your same restaurant, gosh, 100 times in 1 year you can. In fact, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Island Prime down in the harbor next to the airport. We had an agent go there 83 times in 1 year. So the whole kicker to the program is we do have your logo. So we co-brand the card. We put the Allison James logo on the card. This is a sample here. And then we put your name and your phone number on the card, as well as your clients. The whole idea is this is like having your business card in the client's wallets and purses for a full year, And every single time they pull this out for their free entrees around town, they're seeing your name and your brand. We're keeping you top of mind throughout the year. Now, the average person in San Diego County knows 3 licensed real estate agents. How do you separate yourself? So this is a really unique way. And then also USA Today did a survey, and I want you guys to think about this in your heads. They surveyed how many times does the average person dine out in 1 week. So think breakfast, lunch, dinner, 1 week. Think about it for a second. And the answer is 5. So people are dining out at least 5 times a week on average. I say if you're a working mom like me, it's more like 14 times a week. But again, the idea is every time they're pulling this out of their wallet for their free entree, they're seeing your name and brand. We're keeping you top of mind to earn repeat business and referrals. So we do have a handout that Tom emailed out. If anyone's following along, we're on the first page, and I'll just show you. This is the collection, 125 of the best restaurants here in San Diego. There's over 1,000 on the West Coast. And, I mean, if you guys are looking at the sheet, it's not the taco shop around the corner. These are Zagat award-winning restaurants, really collection of the best restaurants here in San Diego. And every time you use that card, time and time again, you're getting the free entree. So if you go to the second page of your handout, you'll see a sample of where we put the logo, your name, and your phone number on the card. You'll see some local samples of restaurants. And then you'll also see some vendors like Hawaiian Airlines, Disneyland. So dining has been the heart of our program for over 30 years, but there's also shopping and travel. On the travel side, you guys, it's a low rate guarantee on flights, rental cars, hotels. On the shopping side, it's everything from electronics. My goodness, my favorite thing was Legoland. So I took my family to Legoland. We saved $31 each ticket. So a family of 4, we saved $124. Probably the best thing about it is I ordered the tickets online, printed them from my home computer, and then walked right into Legoland. So I didn't have to wait in the ticket line in addition. So I saved time and money. It's like, whoop, whoop, that's how I roll. But yeah, you guys, there's, golf now, there's hair salons, a lot of other fun things on the program as well. So now turn with me to the third page. And really, the number one way my clients are making more money with this card is by gifting their sphere. I know you guys are familiar with Brian Buffini. He's from San Diego, and in his workshops, he talks about there's a certain percentage of your clients that forget your name 1 year from transaction close. So I want you guys in your head again, kind of think what percentage, of course not your clients, but in general, what percentage of clients forget the agent's name 1 year from transaction close? I know my Buffini folks out there know it's 86%. Not because you weren't great, not because you did anything wrong. Very simple, out of sight, out of mind. So with the passport card, gifting your sphere, closing gifts are really the no-brainer. Referral gifts are great. Some more creative ways to gift. Open houses. How many of you guys do open houses? So what do you normally do, like a Home Depot card or a Nordstrom card? Don't brand Nordstrom, don't brand Home Depot. Get your own card in there. It'll have your logo, your name, your phone number. Get that in your raffle. And then I have another good example. I had an agent who she had a friend 2 doors down, her neighbor literally 2 doors down, put up a for sale sign. And she said, Shirley, what are you doing? I've been your friend and neighbor for 20 years. I'm in real estate. What did Shirley say? Oh, I forgot. So now she gifts her neighbors on either side of her, make sure she earns their business as well. So just some creative uses outside of closing and referral gifts. And then let me go ahead and talk about the mobile app. So we've been running the mobile app for several years now. We've gotten great feedback. And you've got this great membership card, but where do you use it? So we've taken the guesswork out. You guys know how these work by now. It's based on GPS. I'm going to be able to see everything right by me based on location. But here's the kicker, guys. Agents just like you said, we love the app, but can you brand it? So that's what we've done. We've branded the mobile app. So the entire time your clients are navigating the program, they can see your membership, compliments of, I used Mary Jane Harris, Allison James Estates and Homes. Now, if your client is out to lunch, let's say with like a friend and a sister, and real estate comes up, All they have to do is click your name on their phone, and then your smiling face, logo, contact information, everything will appear inside your client's phone, and then they can actually share your information, give you a referral right there. We also let you customize the link, so she's got a link to her website, LinkedIn, your Facebook page. However you guys are socially connected with your business, you can now connect with your clients and their spheres through their mobile phones. Very, very neat. So we're giving you guys a mobile presence. One other thing that we do for you when you gift a client through our program is we will send an e-newsletter once a month for a full year on your behalf. So you know you're getting 12 soft touches a year. You don't even have to think about, we're going to handle it for you. And again, they're seeing your smiling face, logo, a nice little message. And he did a really nice message I'll read for you real quick. I want you to enjoy your Passport Dining membership. Download the app so you always have it with you, and be sure to check out all of the other great savings too. Thank you again for entrusting me with your real estate needs. P.S. Don't keep me a secret. Your referrals are the lifeline of my business. Right there. And you'll find, I mean, the people, agents that have been using us for a while, you'll see clients get hooked on these cards. Once you get used to getting a free entree around town, you really don't want to give that up. So a lot of agents will continue the cards and just build that relationship that way. All right, so if you guys think about it, we're putting you in people's wallets and purses and cell phones. Really, that's where they're looking constantly throughout the day, keeping you guys top of mind. And this is normally where I ask for questions before we talk about pricing. But all of my information is on the email that Tom sent, so I'm welcoming questions via email and phone. And then I'll go ahead and wrap up and explain how it works. So we're on the last page for those of you following on the handout. And on the last page, you can see the retail pricing is normally $150 per card. However, we put them into packages for you guys. It really drives down the cost for each card. And the way it works is simple. Let's say you do a 10 gift package. We send you your card right away. The 10 other cards are in an inventory for you. You pull on them as you need them. So for example, let's say you close 2 transactions next month in November. You assign those cards out, then those cards are good through November 2018. Your clients always get a full year out of their cards, and then your package never expires. So let's say you have that 10 pack. You do not have to use them up within a specific time frame. You have as long as you need to use them up. So again, they don't expire, they don't go away, and your clients always get a full year out of the card. So let's go ahead, and the only special offer we ever do is bonus cards. I know a lot of you Passport regulars know what I'm talking about. So the bonus cards work like this. They're just free cards that we add to the package. Drives the cost of each card down quite a bit more. So for those of you on the handout here, on package A, cross out 4. You're going to put 5. So you're actually going to get 5 gifts to gift out. You get 1 for yourself. That works out to be 6 gifts total for $330. Guys, that works out to be only $55 a card. Now, if you go through me, you should never have to pay more than $55 for a Passport card. Package B, that's actually our most popular package because we cross out 10 and we put 13. You're going to get 13 gifts to gift out, 1 for yourself. That's 14 total gifts. Guys, that one works out to be only $39 a card. You can see why it's the most popular package. I mean, $39 for the branding and longevity that comes with this is just remarkable. The 25, so on package C, cross out 25 and put 30. You're going to get 30 gifts to gift out, 1 card for yourself. That one works out to be $37 each card. And then I call it the mover and the shaker package. So cross out 50, put 60. And then you're going to be at the $2,100 price point. That one works out to be only $34 each Passport card. This is where I like to point out, these are 100% tax deductible. Of course, always check with your tax professional, but there's so much advertising and marketing and branding in this. You're going to write it off under advertising and marketing. Under gifting, you guys can only write write off up to a maximum of $25. Again, write this off under advertising and marketing, 100% tax deductible. And we do include a receipt with the purchase. So that wraps up the program. I am keeping the bonus cards open through next Wednesday. So normally they're good only at the meeting. Since we're doing a webinar format, we're going to keep it open for a full week. So make sure that you reach out to me. Again, my cell phone and email are on the handout that Tom emailed out.
Why don't you give it to him again?
And then I'll go ahead and give you my cell phone number is 760-845-5664. My email is my name. It is CHERIS@passportunlimited.com. So it should read Cherie S@passportunlimited.com, and I'm happy to help with questions and orders. Thank you so much again for your time, and remember the holidays, get those gifts ready. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Cherie. As I mentioned earlier, I've had a number of my agents in the past that have used Passports Unlimited to great success. I've heard stories where clients are calling them throughout the year, thanking them for the gift, the marketing gift. They are getting more and more referrals as a result of this type of gift. And again, the whole thought process in this is to develop your marketing plan for 2018, your business plan. This is a highly successful tool, and I hope you find it to be as useful and as successful for you as other agents, both with Alice and James, as well as other agents I'm acquainted with and know. So, moving on. Today I'm just going to be doing a wrap-up of what we covered in our last meeting regarding the RPA. I just want to do a highlight of what I covered in that meeting and just kind of emphasize a couple more points before we wrap this up today. Number one, I'm going to encourage everybody to read the residential purchase agreement on a weekly basis for 1 month. There's a lot of information on there that is available to you, and a lot of the questions we brokers get throughout the week can be answered just by reading the RPA. So I know we're all busy, but if you take just maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most, and read through the RPA and understand what it's telling the buyer and the seller on how to behave themselves in a transaction, that is an excellent tool. And if you know, quite frankly, if you know the RPA, you're going to be in the upper 25-30% of the agents out there that have a true understanding of it, which is going to put you head and shoulders over the agents that's representing the other side, because you're going to know what to expect and what is anticipated and how both sides of the equation on a transaction should be behaving. So again, take 1 month, once a week, 15 minutes, read that RPA from start to finish, page 1 to page 10, and have a complete understanding of it. You know, as you're going through that process, as questions arise, just off to the side, write your questions so that you can call your broker, whether that's Jeff Green in Northern California, Omar Hellman in the Los Angeles Orange County marketplace, Mary Jane Morris in Temecula, Marietta, or myself here in San Diego, and talk about it. Let's brainstorm it so you can have a complete understanding as to what the interpretation might be and how it might be applied to the real world in terms of real estate. I covered in that last section, do not handle checks, obviously do not handle cash. Make sure your client wires money in. If for whatever reason that client refuses to wire money in, let the client then take the check to escrow and drop it off. I know we all try to be very, very helpful and do go the extra mile for our clients. But as soon as you touch that deposit check, it's yours and you have to account for it. And it's more than just saying, well, I picked it up from my client and I dropped it off with escrow. There has to be a written log. You need a trust log to show when you picked it up, where you picked it up, what time you picked it up, and then where you took it, what time you gave it to escrow, and the circumstances surrounding that. So again, do not handle money. Do not handle deposit checks. Have your client wire money in. Number one choice. Number two choice would be have them drop the check off directly with escrow. Contingencies, and I had this question already this morning. Actually, I've had it twice this morning. Make sure when you're going and reviewing the contract with your client, with your buyer, making an offer, that they completely understand the contingency part of the RPA. Let them know that it is important to stay on top of the contingency part, and as their realtor, you're going to make sure they do that. The transaction will run so much smoother if you remove those contingency in a timely fashion, whether it's the inspections contingency, your loan contingency, appraisal contingency. Just make sure whatever the contingency factors are, you remove them, you and your client remove them on time. It saves so much headache and going back and forth. One of the questions I had this morning was the seller had a home they were trying to buy out of state. They were in escrow. Tomorrow is the end date for the inspection contingency, and the buyer's dragging their feet. We have the seller. So again, we're sending out a notice to perform, and we're getting off to a bad start on the escrow, and we haven't even gotten to the loan contingency removal or even the appraisal contingency removal. So again, stay on top of that contingency removal part of the RPA. Make sure your clients completely understand the meaning of removing contingency and contingencies in a timely fashion, and that'll go a long way to making a smooth transaction happen even better. Buyer credits. Make sure if you're going to be having buyer credits, whether the seller's paying for non-reoccurring closing costs or any other type of credit going to the buyer, that is handled through the buyer's lender. Make sure you are in compliance with what that requirement is for the lender, and make sure you can do it. There's no reason to negotiate a credit for a buyer that the lender's going to turn down and say you can't do that. So again, before you start asking for a lot of credits, make sure through the buyer's lender that the credits you're asking for will be accepted by them, so that when you go into negotiations and your buyer gets those credits from the seller, it's not going to be taken away later. Closing and possession. Make sure on the closing date that your buyer understands that they will get possession of the keys on the day it records and is confirmed by the title company and escrow. So again, make sure that the confirmation of the closing is announced both to the seller and to the buyer, and then in advance make sure you know how the key transfer is going to be handled, whether it's going to be handled directly between the agents, whether it's going to be handled between an agent and escrow. However it's going to be handled, there's no one way that's correct, but make sure everybody's on board and everybody knows exactly what process is going to be taking place. And again, make sure all the keys are being delivered, not only to the house, but also to the mailbox. If there's a key that's associated there, if there's a homeowners association key for the pool or for whatever other, the gym, whatever other amenities the community might have, make sure all the keys are delivered and that the selling agent is fully aware that you expect all the keys. Agency. Make sure you sign that agency up front. And I would do it even before the RPA, quite frankly. I think I mentioned to you before, I have a mediation case coming up in early, actually almost mid-November, that I'll be talking about at our broker roundtable the end of November. But again, what we're trying to do here is establish relationships between you, the agent, and the client. The best form of establishing that relationship is the buyer-broker agreement. A lot of agents don't feel comfortable in having that signed by the client. So if that's the case, if that's how you feel, then get the agency agreement signed. Before you go out and show property, make sure they sign that. And the presentation for that, quite frankly, is easy. All you're doing is laying in front of them a document that shows what your responsibility is in terms of your fiduciary duty. And there's no obligation that they are required to use you. There's any other obligation at all, other than you are establishing with them a relationship. And you're making what that relationship is all about clear to them. That goes a long way later. Should a procuring cause scenario happen, the agency agreement is not going to win or lose a case for you if it's signed or not signed, but it does work in your favor if it's signed. So again, get that signed early on in the transaction. Make sure it's a part of your package so that hopefully when you go forward and start writing an offer to move forward with the purchase on one of your showings, that part's already done. All you're talking about then is the RPA and other documentation needed for the sale. So again, agency is important. It's such a simple step, and it really does help you potentially down the road should a legal matter come up. Did you know that on page 2K of the RPA, buyer's stated income is a part of the agreement? In other words, a buyer cannot just arbitrarily go out and midway through the transaction and change lenders and change loan programs without talking to the seller and getting the seller's permission. The seller is not obligated per the RPA to cooperate with a buyer who is changing their financing program. The onus on the buyer is to close on time. If they are not closing on time, then they are in breach of contract. You know, there seems to be, with clients, and I'm talking on both sides of the equation. I'm not just talking about buyers. I'm not just talking about sellers. I'm talking about both sides. There seems to be kind of a blasé attitude about the RPA contracts in general. Contracts are legal documents. They are required to be followed. And I think, again, it's important for you as agents, as you're presenting your RPA, to ensure and that your client understands this is a legal document. And you could be found in breach of that contract, which could cause you some financial harm a little bit later if, again, you're in breach of that contract. So press the fact and the point that this is a legal document. It's important you know about all the contingencies that we are putting forth in this agreement, and that we also need to make sure you understand the terms and conditions of every aspect of your purchase, because breach of contract is a serious matter, and it could be very, very costly to the client, whether it's a buyer or a seller. Government retrofit, again, it's on page 3B. It's always been assumed that it's always the seller's responsibility to take care of all the smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors, the bracing for the hot water heater, and other type items that might be required in given areas. It's not that way. I mean, per the RPA on page 3, you'll see two boxes to check. One is buyer, one is seller. So whatever box is checked and whatever is agreed upon at the end of this transaction and negotiating, that's who pays for it. So it might be the seller. In most cases, I might even agree that it is the seller, but it doesn't mean it has to be. The seller might absolutely refuse to do it. That puts the onus on the buyer. So again, understand that, pay attention to it, and whether you're writing the offer, make sure you're checking the right box, and if you're getting a counter offer back, make sure you read that counter offer so you have a full understanding as to what the seller is willing and not willing to do in that case. On page 3, also 3C, you can put in there, escrow company to be blank, title company to be blank. If you're writing the offer, put in your escrow company, put in your title company. Let the seller negotiate it out. Don't put in title choice of seller, escrow choice of seller. Put in companies you know, companies you like to work with, and companies you trust. So many times I get a lot of complaints regarding that escrow companies they haven't worked with in the past are not performing properly, not returning calls. And again, go ahead and put in your escrow company and your title company, and then let the seller negotiate it out. And that way, if they try to negotiate it out, you can talk to the listing agent to find out who is this company you're trying to insert. Are they good? Are they, do they respond? Are they reputable? Do they have a good reputation? So again, you're entitled to ask those questions. My suggestion is do not leave those lines blank, or do not say seller's choice. Put in your choice, your buyer's choice as to who you would like to work with. Items included or excluded in the sale. Keep personal, other than what's already written in the RPA, keep personal items out. The way to transfer a patio set, a way to transfer a living room or a dining room set is by way of bill of sale. It does not need to be a part of the contract. It does not need to be a part of the personal real estate transaction. It's not real property, it's personal property. So again, if a dinette set, if a living room set, if a patio set's going to be included, or any other personal items, cars, tractors, whatever the case might be, put it on a bill of sale and have it worked outside of escrow. Personal property does not need to be a part of real property transfer. I'm going to wrap up here, not yet. Tenant occupied properties. This can be a real big headache. If your client buyer is purchasing a property with a tenant on a lease, make sure everybody involved understands the full extent of that lease. If by chance, and I've seen this happen a few more times than I would like to admit, where a tenant is in a property, but because they're a good friend of the owner selling or a relative of the owner selling, there's no written document lease. Insist that that tenant be placed on a written lease so that down the line, if an eviction is required, you have a legal document to work from to do that eviction. Without that legal document, you will be dragged out and delayed for a long period of time if there's no legal document for you to fall back on, saying, okay, I can give this person a 30-day notice or a 60-day notice. So you need to make sure that everything is up to date, that everything is legally signed, and that the seller will handle the tenant up to and including the closing, and transfer all the needed documentation that's required for a tenant and a lease situation. So again, make sure you handle that properly, because that can be a real problem at the end. So also in the beginning, get a statement of information. Help escrow out. Make sure whether you have the buyer or seller, or both, make sure that statement of information gets completed and turned into escrow so you can find out what's going on with your buyer and seller. In other words, make sure there's no liens against them or against even the property itself. The biggest factor there might be an IRS lien. So again, get that statement of information completed, get it turned into escrow so they can do their job of making sure everything is clear and that there's no cloud or lien on the property itself. Lastly, I'm just closing up here. Talk to your broker. Use your broker as a sounding board. Brainstorm with your broker. If you have questions as you're going through the RPA and you're not quite sure how to present it or what it means, contact your broker, discuss it with them. We can come up with some pretty good ideas because we're not emotionally involved a lot of times. So it's a lot clearer to us that what we're dealing with and what the legal right course of action might be to get completed. That's all I have for today. Regarding Cherie, if any of you have any questions, please contact her. She gave you her contact information. If you have any questions on it and would like to talk to me directly about it, you all have access to my information, San Diego broker at ajicorporate.com. And Cherie can handle the states. I know some of you are listening that might be in Orange County, it might be in Temecula, it might be in Northern California. Cherie can help you. So this wasn't a presentation only for San Diego. It was for the entire state, and Cherie can help you. So please keep that in mind. Get back to me if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing and meeting all of you at one point or another. Have a great week.